Mm-hmm.
in reference to something that most people struggle with,
Mm-hmm.
bookkeeping. Bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were CPAK,
Yeah.
and majority of the time people usually take bookkeeping lightly. So
Yeah.
what I'd like you to discuss some of the one habits of
Mm-hmm.
bookkeeping that are transferable to from one business to another, and to the importance, how important it is to for bookkeeping, especially for people, especially when it comes to, like, let's say, like, the fraud thing that happens in business. And now when
Mm-hmm.
somebody like you, Audrey, who comes into the business, and now you establish that this has been fraud because of the bookkeeping methods that are there. How important is bookkeeping for a company, and the habits of bookkeeping for a company?
It's extremely important to do good, to have good bookkeeping practices for various reasons. One is for the growth of your business. So there's no way you can really manage what's going on, in terms of even knowing how much you're spending, how much is coming in per day, without proper bookkeeping. Second, there's an obligation to do so from a regulatory perspective. If you're an entrepreneur in this country or any other country, the tax money is going to be on your back at some point. What will be the basis on which you provide, say, your returns? I've seen many small businesses get into this problem where they don't take bookkeeping seriously. They just sort of come up with very, for lack of a better word, created books for the purposes of tax submission. And when tax people show up at your door asking to see your records, you don't have a record. So the first motivation to keep books is for the sustainability of your business, even before you get to regulatory reasons. And I've seen many off the shelf packages or systems that entrepreneurs can use. So you don't have to think of going out to purchase an expensive system like SAP or Oracle for a small business. There are off the shelf packages that you can actually use, or systems that you can actually use to help you in your bookkeeping as you start. And as you grow, of course, depending on how the needs of the business evolve, you can always make changes. We've talked about the cash flow perspective. If you think of a proper business, how you know how you're operating, first of all, you have your balance sheet, you have your income statement, which is the revenue and the cost that you're incurring. Then you have your balance sheet, which provides you with your assets. What assets do you own as a business? What are your liabilities? And what is your capital? And when you prepare those books, you actually are able to then tell, is the capital sufficient to finance your business? Are the liabilities you're holding too high for your business, for example, such that your business could collapse overnight? Are you putting and sweating your assets? If you have assets and they are not giving returns, that's one of the biggest mistakes I've seen from many organizations. And this one is not just entrepreneurs. You have assets that are not bringing you returns. That's waste of money and waste of investment opportunities. And those incomes then translate into what goes into your income statement, where you'd see how much revenue am I making as a business and what uses am I putting this revenue to. Um, and you cannot have that view if you don't have proper bookkeeping. So I think I cannot I cannot overestimate the importance of right bookkeeping for entrepreneurs. If their businesses are to do well, it's something that you really need to do, and there are many options out here that can assist you do that.
Wow, amazing.
Mm.
Now, can you maybe tell us a specific challenge you faced in your career and how you turned it into an opportunity for growth?
I thought about that question for a long time.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges that many people would face and have faced is that sometimes it's not up to you who you work with. Yeah. If you're employed, for example, today, John, and you walk into a company, all the people that you know are probably the people that sat on your interview panel. And you might be lucky to know the kind of supervisor or kind of person that you're going to work with, and even your teammates. So I've encountered a challenge where I had to work with a really, you could call it a challenging supervisor to work with. And sometimes how you handle these situations can be the make or break of your career, because as long as you're still working in a particular company and you're working with a particular person, then you have the obligation to make that relationship work for your sake. Sometimes it's easy to take the easy way out and jump ship. But what if that is not an option on the table? You could be looking and maybe you're not finding another opportunity, or maybe entrepreneurship is not what you're thinking about in the meantime. Of course, you could exit and start an independent business where you're now the person in charge, but sometimes that's not always an option. So I think the lessons I could share, and some I've learned from this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It touches on many things in terms of how you script people, and you can script not only those below you, but you can also script those above you. And scripting means, what do I make you see? When I see John, what do I see? Do I see somebody whose attitude is just blatantly outright tired of working with Audrey, or do I see somebody who is making an effort? And through that experience, then you can get to change people or get people to modify their behavior. So sometimes what you receive, you might be on the receiving end, but it might be a reflection of what you're putting in. And key lesson that I've taken out of that is to always put in the positive energy, put in the positive things that you'd like to see in any situation, no matter how difficult it is. And over time, you'll find that the situation gradually improves and you get the best out of that situation.